Hey guys, and we're back. So now we're going to work on pages 2 and pages 3. So on page 2, we're going to create a mock-up of what our page layout will look like. And on page 3, we're going to copy that same exact layout style, but in page 3, we're going to add images and we're going to add text into those spaces. All right, so on page 2, I just want you to click into your document anywhere you would like to make sure that page has been selected. All right, so at the very top, we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to go to Create Guides. All right, so once you click on Create Guides, we want to add our rows, and we're going to add 8 rows. We're not going to worry about our columns because we already have our columns done. All right, go ahead and press OK. So what we've done is create a grid system. This grid system is going to help us with our placement of our text, shapes, and images. All right, so like I said, we're working on page 2. So in order for us to work together, I'm not going to give you specific measurements. I'm simply going to talk to you as in our columns and our rows. So for example, we're going to make a rectangle, and we're going to use the rectangle tool. This rectangle will be 5 columns over and 3 rows down. Right, so I'm going to click my rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns over, 1, 2, 2 rows down. All right, so once I've made that rectangle, on my toolbar, I want my rectangle to be filled with the color and not an outline. All right, so I just swapped. I used my swap tool, and we swapped that color to our fill, and no color is on our stroke. The color of this rectangle, double click on our fill. Want to make that rectangle color red. All right, so that's our first rectangle, and it is red. All right, so moving forward, I want to keep this little space here. And I'm going to make another rectangle in my 6th column, and it's going to be 3 rows down. So I'm taking my rectangle tool, and I'm making a rectangle, and I want that rectangle to be black. Using a grid helps you to organize your content. All right, so in our 4th row, we're going to make 2 rectangles. Our first rectangle in our 4th row is going to be 5 columns over. I'm going to fill it with that color. And our second rectangle is going to be 3 columns over, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make sure that's filled. And this is all within our 4th row. Okay, you want to keep those spaces there because these spaces are your gutters. Excuse me. And your gutter is just that space to where your text won't touch each other. So if you think of a book, you have this spacing here that there's no text really within this area because this is the crease of the book. So that's that gutter space. So you don't want any text within this area. All right, zoom out so you guys can see where I'm at. Okay, so dropping down, we're going to make one more rectangle. And that rectangle, we're going to make it 2 columns over and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns down. And we're going to fill it with black. Okay, we want to keep this space, this little gutter open. Make another rectangle. This rectangle, we're going to work with our 3rd column, 3 and 4, and we're going to go down 2 rows, 1, 2. I'm going to fill it, and that color, I want to make it red. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're only using the rectangle tool, not the rectangle frame. Rectangle tool, right? I'm going to make another rectangle. That rectangle is going to be black. Make sure you leave your spacing. Make sure you leave those gutters open. All right, and we're going to do the very same thing in the last 2. We're just going to switch the colors. So in 5 and 6, in our 5th and 6th columns, 1 row down, 2 row down. We're going to make sure that that rectangle is black. In that same row, going to make another rectangle, and that rectangle is going to be red. All right, so what we've created is our mock-up. So now, once you've created your mock-up, we're going to copy the same exact layout style onto our page 3. But this time, instead of using rectangles, we're going to use our images and text. All right, so we're about to do the same thing. This time, what tool would I use to place an image into InDesign? All right, the tool I want to use is my rectangle frame tool. Okay, we're not using the rectangle tool, we're using the rectangle frame. All right, and we're doing the same thing. So this one's going to be 5 columns over, 2 rows down. All right, how do you place an image inside of InDesign? I'm going to go to File, Place, and choose whatever image we want to work with. So I'll work with this one. All right, so this is the image I want. So I'm going to press Open. And now that image is inside of my rectangle frame. But remember, if your image fills up that frame and I want my image to be the exact size of my frame, you as the designer can always go and fit your image to the frame. So I see that I can't see the entire image, so I want to fit my image to my frame. Object fitting, and this may be different for you depending on the image that you chose. So I went to object fitting, fill frame proportionately. Now I can see majority of that image what I wanted. So to undo something in InDesign, the shortcut command is Command Z. That'll let you go back multiple times. You don't have to worry about doing Command C Option, and it's not undo redo. Go to Command Z will allow you to undo. All right, so I have my image. So let's work with our row 4. All right, so in our row 4, I placed 2 rectangles because in my row 4, I want to have a title and a subtitle present in my 4th row. All right, so I'm gonna take my type tool, click, draw a rectangle, and give your article that you guys are creating a title. The title is completely up to you. So I said this is going to be called, let's say, vacation. All right, that's going to be my title. My title is going to be vacation. Command T will bring up your character box, right? So typically your title is the biggest thing on the page, right? All right, so I made it 60 point. And for my subtitle, I'm just gonna write it in this area and then place it where I want it to be. So my subtitle will be waiting for the day to take off. Right, that's my subtitle. So then you see my text box is really big. I don't need it that big. You can always go back and size it down. It's not stretching your text. So I can move that text where I want it to be. And zoom in. All right, I want that to be a little bit bigger. See, I got that red square. All I gotta do, oops, enlarge my text box. Waiting for the day to take off. All right, so I got my subtitle. I got my title and my subtitle. So in InDesign, it has this great feature that allows you to input text or placement text within your document without having the actual text of the real article. So say somebody is writing this and you don't have that text, they haven't sent you the full article proofread or nothing, but you still need to lay this out to see where you're going to place things at. InDesign lets you have dummy text. So we're going to start by creating a text box. So we're going to go to type tool, and like I said, we're following our mock-up. So here we're going to make a text box the same size. Click, 2 columns over, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns down. And once I've made that rectangle with my type tool, I can go to type, fill with placeholder text. Once you fill with placeholder text, it allows the text box to have text. Okay? So bam, now you got your text. Just to recap, I'm gonna undo. I made a text box, 2 columns over, 4 rows down, type, fill with placeholder text, fills my text box with already made text. All right, so I'm gonna stop the video right here and we're gonna come back and finish up our layout.